How's it going, everyone? It is Prashan here, and I have another Marvel Snap deck highlight, and I have another friend of the show here, Bradsifer. How's it going, Bradsifer?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
Oh, no problem. The man on many podcasts, the podcaster of
Yes,
all
a
podcasters. So
little too many.
yeah. So I saw this Toxic Sera list on Twitter made by yours truly here. So I decided to have you on, and then we'll go through card by card, and then we'll play a few games, and then hopefully we could get some wins. So we'll start off with Hazmat here. What are your thoughts on Hazmat and why?
I mean, of course, with the whole idea being like this affliction style list of Sarah control, like this little spinoff, you really want Hazmat for that kind of thinking. Though you have to remember, just because Hazmat's in the list doesn't mean you always play her. She kind of feels like a card you want to have Luke Cage out if you're playing her late. Though more often than not, there are plenty of times in which on turn two, you might be in a position where Hazmat is just correct to play on turn two. For example, there's a lot of Squirrel Girl I've seen recently because I've seen this. I don't know if there was a content creator that did it or something, but there's been this zoo list with like Mockingbird and stuff like that. I've seen quite a bit through Conquest and like even post Infinite Ladder. And when I see Squirrel Girl on one, I'm like, oh, cool. Hazmat's already a 2/5. That's great. So yeah, Hazmat's perfect for the deck, but don't shoehorn yourself into thinking you need to play her every single game. She's there for when the time calls for her.
Right. And then next we have U.S. Agent. It's a I don't know. It's a card people love hate.
I mostly hate. Yeah, I've seen that. It's a weird thing. Look, I'm not going to shy away from. If you look at him in the span of this month as all the releases, I said prior to the month coming out of all the cards, I thought he'd be the worst card of the month. But and also I still think that's going to be the case. However,
Mhm.
that doesn't make him a bad card. We just have a very stacked month with things like Red Guardian and Red Hulk. If you don't have US Agent, you can definitely do something like Shadow King. But I really, really do like the card. It has a lot of great applications in deck. And keep in mind, just because people kind of focus way too much on the 6 drop aspect of him because they'll be like, well, if they have a Red Hulk or an Infinite, why do I care about, a 617 versus 620 or a 616 versus a 619 from a Red Hulk that's grown a couple of times? He says 4 and 5 costs as well. And there's a good amount of those in the game. And
Mhm.
being able to just hit those in a group, especially with certain locations like what the M one that pulls in a 3 or 4.
Asteroid. Yeah.
Asteroid M, yeah. Like that's a great one. You see that location pop up, turn two, you're like, okay, US agent, you live here now because you're gonna guarantee at least a hit, most likely. So don't sleep on the card. He's awesome. Just it's okay if you don't want to get him. I get it, economy and all that. Play Shadow King instead.
Yeah. And next we have Lizard.
Just a good 2/5. It has synergy with Enchantress, which we'll see later. And then yeah, it's just a good card. And with Luke Cage down, it also doesn't get its debuff.
Yep. Yeah. Lizard always is a great value card for two, especially
And if
when you.
you if you just
Oh,
got the Rian Gonzalez variant, good excuse to play it.
yeah, true. I passed on it. Did you
I'll
get
get it
it?
eventually. I was going to, but then I opened Twitter and saw like 12 other content creators like, oh my god, look at it. I'm like, I love
Yeah.
Rian Gonzalez. She is one of my favorite artists in the game, but I'm just like, I'll get it later. I have that exact one you're on right now. I have it inked with rainbow like confetti effect or whatever, and it
Oh,
looks
nice.
fantastic.
Yeah, I need to. I don't know. I need to split this one more. But I don't think I play Lizard enough. Or I don't care
Yeah,
to because he's like a two. I don't know.
true. I don't know. I think he's a bit underrated. I could see him maybe getting some love and being a 2/6, but we'll see.
Ooh, 2/6. That's crazy. That I don't know. That's too much.
He'll drop to a 2/2 still. That's not very good.
Yeah, I guess it
What if you
could.
made him a 2/6 and then give him -5, so he still drops to that 2/1 spot?
That I don't know. That sounds decent. I could take that, but that's a lot.
Okay.
And then next we have Maximus here.
Yeah. So this one, I know when Glazer covered the deck on one of his videos for Snap Judgments, he personally said he didn't care for Maximus. I can understand that. It's not a great early play. It's one that you really hold on to and hope to just drop late after playing Sera. Or if you don't have Sera down, you can play one of your many fours and Maximus on the last turn, and you're pretty happy with that. However, there are some niche applications I've had for Maximus that I love. For example, I've had games against Destroy, and Sinister London popped up. And usually that's like terrifying as a player seeing Sinister London pop up for a Destroy player. They can go really crazy with like double Deadpool and stuff like that. And on two, I slammed down because they had Deadpool on one. I slammed down my Maximus on Sinister London to give them a full hand. So when they destroyed their Deadpool, it just went away.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
So it's niche, don't get me wrong, but things like that do happen, and you can play around stuff and use his weakness as a strength. And at the end of the day, look, he's a 2/6. This deck wants some power when it can find it in any controlled version of a deck, I would say. And Maximus is great at doing that.
Yeah, especially with Sarah 1/6 on the final turn. I'll take that any day.
Right.
Like, yeah, it's a no brainer. And then next we have Red Guardian, one of the newest cards in Marvel Snap.
Yeah, and one of the stars of the deck, I would say. Red Guardian has quickly become my second favorite, and I do believe the second best tech card in the game behind Shang-Chi. Though, you know what? Let's give him number one because let's say Shang-Chi is not a tech card anymore. Is that fair to say? Like, he's just that integral to the game that you can't even really consider him a tech card?
Yeah, I think so. I think Red Guardian to me has replaced Cosmo
Right. Or Rogue is a good example as well.
and Rogue too. Yeah,
But the reason I love Red Guardian so much is because he's a card that you can actually play on curve and be happy with the results. Very often, look, his floor for the most part is he's a 3/5 because he'll afflict something for -2, silence it, and there you go. Awesome. And there are plenty of 2 drops in the game that you want to hit on curve. I just mentioned Deadpool is one with the Maximus thing. I've hit plenty of Deadpools and Wolverine as well, or X-23 with Red Guardian on 3. And that's been something that's set up like me for the win against Destroy. Otherwise, you have Anja, which has made a huge comeback, being a 2/0 now that pumps up every single turn. You have things like Ravona that you can snipe early so they don't get to make use of their goblins, things like that. Or if you're going to get to Ravona deck, you might want to hold off and then use it on the Iron Man or Dracula, even in other decks. So there's plenty of great targets for him,
yeah,
both on curve and to hold later.
yeah, for sure. Sunspot, Nebula. Like when
Right.
someone's playing high
Hitting
Evo, you
those are
turn off
great.
their Cyclops. Like there's a bunch of cool stuff. Red Guardian just stops and swings the game your way.
Mhm.
And then next we have Luke Cage, the star of the show here.
Integral. You are a affliction deck. You can definitely, once you get some reps in, you can be very good at learning how to build your board in a way where you don't need Luke Cage, but having Luke Cage makes that final turn a lot more palatable and being able to spread out the power in the way that you want to. But what else can you say about him? He's a great card.
Nice. And then next we have Gladiator.
Yep. So I said you want to take as many, above curve stats as you can in a deck like this for control. And Gladiator is very good at what he does. Look, if you whiff and you miss, he hits something that's too big. You have Shang-Chi to, it's a 2-for-1 on yourself and it feels bad, but you can still recover. More often than not, he is going to kill whatever comes out on the other side. He's a 3/8. You're very happy. Or you can even hold on to him until turn 6 and just play him into a lane that's going to be filled or already filled. So you don't have to worry about his effect going off.
And speaking of Shang-Chi, there he is.
You can't have a control deck or, frankly, any deck anymore without Shang-Chi. So he's here.
Yeah, pretty much. The game has definitely gotten super tall.
Yeah, he's super important.
And next
Yeah,
we
so-
have Enchantress.
Enchantress is still a good card. She's great in this because you can use her as a defensive tool as well, in the sense of, I guess I should say offensive, more of an aggressive tool to turn off Lizard or another 4-drop we'll get to in a moment, Typhoid Mary, to make sure that, hey, I didn't get Luke Cage, but I can turn these off anyway. And then, of course, there's a decent amount of ongoing stuff still around. I still run into, like I said, a Zoo deck I saw earlier. plenty of times. So Kazar, Blue Marvel, that kind of thing. And then, of course, Tribunal is very big at the moment. This is great against that. So she's still very good and has good stats. She's a 4/5.
Yeah, and then I think ongoing players forget that she's in the game at times.
Right.
So it's like, all right.
There's nothing better than I went up against a Spectrum ongoing list that was running Ant-Man, and they had Iron Man down. They even had
Ooh.
Colossus, which was really funny. So they had a lane that consisted of those three cards, but then they had them in other lanes as well because it was Sinister Ronin. And when you Enchantress all their ongoings, they're no longer ongoings according to the game. So your Spectrum just doesn't do anything.
Oh wow. Yeah. Yeah. I think people just forget about her, so she's definitely a clutch card.
Yeah.
And then next we have Man Thing.
My probably favorite card in the entire game. I have been so high on Man Thing ever since he released, and I'm a little sad that part of me is a little sad that this deck has kind of caught on. A bunch of different streamers have been playing it. It made its rounds on Twitter. I'm doing this video with you.
You're the king
Glazier
of
from Flat
Twitter. What are
Judgment.
you talking about? Of course it's gonna get out there.
But yeah, so like seeing this go around and stuff is really awesome. But at the same time, like, I don't want you to touch Man Thing. I'm afraid. I'm so afraid of like Second Enter being like randomly in an update, being like, Man Thing's been a bit too good for our liking. Because I think he is so strong. So often he's a 4/9, 4/11. Like he is so good. And yeah, you could be like, well, I don't want to hit my own stuff. You don't have to. You get the privilege of being the player that has Man Thing in their hand, and you look at the board and be like, wow, they've committed two cards that meet the criteria of 1, 2, and 3 in this same lane. I'm just going to play Man Thing in that lane by himself and just not care. And then it's a great place for Sera to go as well. That way, you have the extra 4 power and not get it hit or whatever. It's similar to US Agent in that sense, but Man Thing is so much more of a swing on
Mhm.
locations that he is so good. Please, please run this card. He is supremely underrated.
Oh yeah, for sure. And then next we have Typhoid Mary. Uh-oh.
So I was very against putting Typhoid Mary first into the list.
Mhm.
But I'm like, I need a card that can go tall, and this is the one that makes the most sense. We have two ways to turn her off with Luke Cage and Enchantress. If I don't have one of those in hand, I'm very reluctant to playing her often.
Mhm.
I will still sometimes take the gamble. I'm like, I'm just going to play her and we'll see what goes. Also, honestly, her affliction on your side of the board is actually helpful oftentimes being a control deck. If you have Luke Cage or Enchantress in hand, especially because you play Sarah down and then her -1 to all of your stuff is like, cool, that helps me throw priority, which is what I want to
Mhm.
do as a control deck anyway, to allow them to flip first, have my Hazmat be stronger, have my Shang-Chi get its hit, have its Enchantress get its hit, Red Guardian, etc., etc. So Typhoid Mary is very good in the deck. You needed a card that can go tall, more so than what the other versions of Sarah Control can do, and she just fits that bill perfectly.
Nice. And then speaking of Sarah, there she is.
Can't have a Sarah Control deck without Sarah. This is a card that has withstood the test of time when it comes to Marvel Snap. It's actually crazy. She was a 5/5 once upon a time, and then she got changed to a 5/4 when the old Sarah Control list was kind of like the top deck with like Mysterio, like Scarlet Witch and stuff like that. And then had
Mhm.
played Bishop. And then I think, correct me if I'm wrong, she got changed to a 5/4 after Hit Monkey came out originally, or was it before? It might have been before,
It
actually.
might have been
Either
before
way,
because I remember
like,
the whole like wave Sarah thing took over for a while too.
yeah, that too.
But that
So
was that
Sarah
like beta
is
days?
right. Sarah's a very good card, and the fact that she's just been this stat line and this ability for ages is awesome, and one of the most balanced and just consistently great cards in the game.
Yeah, definitely a perfect, almost near perfect card in Marvel Snap. So there we go. We have the deck here. It's been explained by Bratz over here. So we're gonna play a few games. Hopefully he can guide me through it. Hopefully we get a few dubs and yeah. So let's get into the games. As
Like,
far
do you
as
care
like
about them?
of my decks.
Yeah, like I actively stopped using them for
Oh
the most
man, there
part.
goes Hazmat. I personally
Hey, that's
don't care
okay.
about titles unless like it's something like I made and I'm proud of and I just want to keep it there and look at it. But besides that, I don't care if it's like deck 20 or 21 or 19.
I got you.
So,
So they also discarded their Psychos, by the way. So yeah, I think we're winning that battle.
so what do you want to do
There's
here?
probably just throw out U.S. Agent. I think Living Tribunal. I'm not sorry, not High Evo does want to make use of their big stuff if they can, and also regaining that Cyclops that they lost is potentially intriguing for them. So maybe you're fine with putting U.S. Agent mid, because
Ooh,
so I'm thinking like a one drop, potentially, and then like Haiva himself, or like maybe they're running the thing. Unsure.
so
We
Maximus
go
or Lizard?
lizard. We go lizard here. If you have the choice between the two, it's always going to be lizard. You don't want to just give them draw for no reason.
So I'm assuming they're gonna put something big in Pet Mansion.
Right. So they don't have any spot set up for sure with a 4-man thing really. Like you can get a hit on either of those lanes, but you're also hitting your own things. So I would rather put Typhoid Mary somewhere. I'm almost I'm thinking left simply because I think there's a very good chance that we're throwing the right lane. So mid is looking a lot more enticing for Man Thing after we play this Sera.
Right.
We have priority though, so we don't. But here's the thing: if we had Shang-Chi in hand, I would be interested in red guarding the armor because we have a guarantee
Ooh.
hit on it. But we don't. However, there's still a very good chance if we do draw Shang-Chi, that armor is going to be the lowest power thing there. If they play a big thing and that's it. So that could still be on the table. So I'm going to go Sera left because we want to make sure, by the way, that we're throwing priority here. So put in the lane you're already winning at, and then let them play the thing there on the right.
All right. Hopefully Misty
Or the
Knight
big
hits. Nope, doesn't hit A-bomb.
So we got Luke Cage. That is a huge, huge draw. So now what we're looking at is going to be Man Thing mid for sure, because that's 2 guaranteed hits there. We can, let's see, how many times have they floated? They did on turn 1, on turn 3, on turn 4, and on 5 they played full cost for A-bomb. No, they didn't. We had 1, 2, 3. So they floated 4 times. So 4, that's 8. They got a 620 Hulk. So if we do Maximus left, Luke Cage left, because I think it's just Hulk left, right?
I guess. Yeah, I guess that might be their play.
We'll swing mid. And also the Luke Cage is going to give us another 1. So we have 14, 20, 24 left. So that even beats another float left as well, if they for some reason have.
Oh, they do.
So
You called
16,
it.
I did the math wrong. I guess they
Do we
floated.
lose the middle still? No, we
No.
still win. We win the middle.
We win mid. Because we flip with Luke Cage.
Oh man, that was awesome. That was pretty good. You called it.
It helps that I play a lot of this game. But yeah, I was expecting the Shocker to be the one that hit the Hulk. But no, Misty Knight didn't go off, so they didn't get the Hulk reduced at all from Shocker. So I guess they didn't. Oh, I forgot. They have to have the Hulk in hand. I totally blanked on that.
Yeah.
I'm so used to Red Hulk now, where I'm just like, they always have Red Hulk. He's always in their hand. So yeah, we beat the highest high roll I could think of for Hulk.
Left. Yeah. I think you called it too. You said 16. So let's go. So we got Luke Cage, Lizard, Maximus, Stark Tower, first location. Nothing to play on one.
You never have anything to play on one with this deck. Now that is something that's potentially an issue with Red Hulk, I guess. But you do get definitely no Red Hulk in that hand. As they get a Bast. Space Throat is pretty funny. And they snap.
Oh wow,
on
they
Space
snap.
Throat. So I'm thinking C3, and they have magic to get rid of Space Throne, is my
Okay.
initial thought. But for now, I would do Lizard left. So there's the Jeff. That's helping my case for C3 so far.
Yeah.
We can just tempo out Cage. Cage left is also fine. Because again, you kind of want to attack a singular lane a bit aggressively with this deck. Because again, you're trying to throw priority in the end game. If this is C3, by the way, we're very happy if we can draw an Enchantress. Though Man-Thing is another one that's going to be eating pretty well.
Ooh, Black Widow.
Still looking like C3 so far.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Junk centric. So I'm not feeling super great about the U.S. agent at the moment. I know it's a little weird, feels like an overcommitment, but I think it is Typhoid left. The reason I think it's Typhoid.
Where do you want to put the Widow's Bite?
Just right with the other ninja.
Yeah, and even if they have a Valkyrie, it won't affect us at all.
Correct. That's the big thing. Now they could run Shang-Chi in this list. He is a 3 after all. And that's okay. We want to give... Well, actually, hold on. If it's C3, they're kind of not feeling hot about this.
Rickety Bridge.
Switching that around. Space Throne's now filled. That's a cool play. Rickety Bridge, though, mid. A little awkward. So now it's off of difference, right? Because we're not going to be able to hit this.
Yeah.
So do you ever Gladiator left and like US agent mid? I'm trying to think. We don't have Sera. I'm trying to think of like what's easiest to throw away. We don't have priority, right? So what about just do like Hazmat mid? Because I think they might pass this turn.
And should we do Gladiator too?
We should probably hold off and then just play him next turn. Because if we play him next turn and they, for some reason, have Shang-Chi in this list...
There's a Valkyrie that doesn't do anything.
I don't think they realize what Luke Cage does. Anyway.
All systems go.
Now we can just play Gladiator left and just win off difference, I believe. Unfortunately, we have Prio. I mean, just put the Maximus mid just in case they have something like a
oh, they retreat.
All right, bye-bye.
Yeah, I knew the Valkyrie was coming.
Yeah,
but it's like they didn't realize Luke Cage was there, which was pretty wild.
That's a game that they're throwing, kind of, unfortunately. Cool Quake play, by the way.
Oh yeah, that was an awesome Quake play.
But
awesome Quake play. Like they got lucky with the Scarlet Witch turning the Ninja Palace whatever into Rickety.
I would say unlucky because they forced a matter of who wins off difference, and we were
true.
really far ahead there. This is a great reason as to why I hate Scarlet Witch as a card. If I want any location disruption, I want Legion. I want Rhino even instead. Like I just cannot stand the randomness of Scarlet Witch. So I do not run her in any list that you would think of that could run her, even C3.
Yeah, because you would think, well, I guess Rhino's a 3/3 compared to Scarlet Witch.
That's who I run in C3 instead. Is Rhino.
Sometimes I run both, but
right.
GG's. Going against Josh here, we have Gladiator, Luke Cage, Hazmat, Clentar first location, and we have Enchantress. So pretty decent hand start off.
Yeah, I would say.
Yondu takes out Lizard.
So Mill is an interesting matchup, and the Nexus as well on top of that. So that one, I feel a bit confident with this. They have Prio. is there ever any reason to tempo out this Hazmat? Not against this, because the most they're going to do on turn 2 is just play either another one, like a Spider Ham, or they're going to play Cable. So you just pass.
Ooh,
They
beast.
So this is a bounce version of it. Can't say I'm not annoyed. Yeah, I would just throw out Gladiator left, because even if it's something bigger, that's okay. It gets melded into whatever on Clintar. So it is mill. Maximus gives us some card draw. U.S. Agent goes by, but that's not something we're too worried about.
Ooh, Gladiator for Gladiator. That sucks. There goes our Shang-Chi.
That's the downside. But we do... Double Nexus. Oh, that's a nightmare.
We go Typhoid?
Yeah, probably gotta go Typhoid. It can be on either one of those. It's fine. The only thing is they definitely do run
Cable
Shang-Chi.
doesn't pull anything.
Right. We're happy with our list at the moment. Sera left. There's a chance that they yeah, Sera left. It already ate, so we're not going to lose the Sera effect. I want
But the Nexus gives us more, right? Or
yeah, but we're hoping that they would play something on Nexus and not give us Prio.
Man thing, okay.
That we got that.
Cool. We still have Prio.
Yep. So we have to expect Shang-Chi, right?
Yeah.
So I would think we go like, we could play all of these, right? Yeah, that's 6. So Red Guardian, put some negative power on the board, and then Enchantress first, and then Hazmat. Just see what hits. If that's a Red Hulk, that's not that big of a deal. We're mostly fine. If it's a Shang-Chi, I'm not too worried.
Oh,
Now,
of course.
I think we still get it though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Victory. That's why math is fun. But yeah, so we're a little awkward with the Doc Ock pulling everything. Would have liked that man thing on the Nexus, but you make do with what you get, and we still had just enough power.
Yeah, and the Dr. Octopus play sort of saved us a little bit too of making decisions, since it basically pulled our cards and we played everything. We played our hand out on that final turn, so.
Yeah, I think they should have played Doc Ock on the Nexus, in my opinion, if I was going to be for them, because you already have a guaranteed Shang-Chi target there. You might as well just put, more power onto it, and put your amount of power onto it as well with Doc Ock. Especially because that our Shang-Chi's gone. So why not put your Doc Ock on the power location?
Maybe they forgot.
Yeah, I don't know.
And that is it for this video. Brad, do you have anything to say before we take off and it's bedtime?
Yeah, just deck's awesome. We've been playing it a lot on stream, which has been a lot of fun. And yeah, so you should definitely, if you're watching, give us a try. It's a great deck. If you like Affliction, I think they agree too. It's a good deck.
What? Can you say bye-bye? Can you say bye-bye?
Bye-bye.